They're the two biggest allies of the Modi 3.0 Sarkar and have backed the proposal to make Modi the leader of the NDA. While it is all smiles and hugs in public, the allies have not shied away from placing their demands on the table, which is understandable. That's what happens in a coalition Sarkar. In his address, Naidu emphasized the need for balancing regional aspirations and national interests for holistic development. Very important. Nitish Kumar, meanwhile, said that it's important for the new government to ensure that all states are equally taken care of and that Bihar will prosper under Modi's leadership. Sources suggest that the TDP, the JDU and the other NDA allies are vying for significant union cabinet positions. The two key allies have made a demand for special financial packages, like we just said, for Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, two states which have had existing demands for special status in the past. The grand swearing-in of the new Modi government, Modi Sarkar, takes place at 6 p.m. on Sunday. That's this weekend on the 9th of June. So for the next 48 hours, expect there to be a lot of hardball taking place in the background.
Sir, only all of us have to keep balancing regional aspirations and national interest must run parallelly, ensuring holistic development across all strata of society.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी संसदीय दल के नेता आदरणीय श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को भारत के प्रधानमंत्री पद के लिए समर्थन देती है। आज ये बहुत ही खुशी की बात है। 10 साल से ये प्रधानमंत्री हैं और फिर प्रधानमंत्री होने जा रहे हैं और इन्होंने पूरे देश की सेवा की। अब पूरा भरोसा है कि जो कुछ भी बचा है अगली बार ये सब पूरा कर देंगे और जो भी हर राज्य का है, और हम लोग पूरे तौर पर सब दिन इनके साथ रहेंगे।
So as we bring you these rapid news breaks towards government formation this weekend, viewer, this is the list of questions that I have in my mind, and I'm sure you have them too. Number one, what is the power formula in Modi 3.0? Lots of hugs and handshakes, but what is the dynamic going to actually be? So far, it's been one leader taking the decisions. What's it going to be now that there are allies as well? Number two, who will be the Lok Sabha Speaker? You've heard lots of news breaks about demands for Lok Sabha Speaker. The JDU and the TDP have denied these news breaks, but we hear it's happening behind the scenes. That's the nature of the game as far as government formation is concerned. What are the new rules of engagement that will apply in the NDA Sarkar? It's the first time that the BJP is not in majority on its own. It's dependent on its allies to remain in power. So what are the new rules of engagement? Will there be an NDA coordination panel, very much like what the UPA had between 2004 and 2014? Number four, will decision-making slow down because now NOCs will probably be required from allies before big decisions are taken? Will there be a common minimum program of the kind we saw during the UPA's 2 tenures? Number six, with the BJP's 240 seats, do Naidu and Nitish really have that much leverage? They've got, far fewer seats than that. So what kind of leverage do they actually have? And will the first 100 days of Modi 3.0 be as smooth as the BJP is hoping that they will be? Well, at the cusp of a historic hat trick of being the third consecutive elected Prime Minister, only the second in history to do so, Modi took on the opposition as well during his address at the parliamentary party meeting. The dust has settled on the verdict and the Prime Minister was back in attack mode. Take a look.
Narendra Modi is ready to take oath as the Prime Minister for the third time. The NDA elected Modi as its leader on Friday. Modi took on the opposition in his address at the NDA meet, taunting the India bloc on EVM.
उन्होंने दिन देखा ना रात देखी। मैंने किसी को पूछा, यार ये तो ठीक है आंकड़े वांकड़े, तो मुझे ये बताओ कि ईवीएम जिंदा है कि मर गया? एक अर्थ में प्रतिबिंब है।
Prime Minister also accused opposition of fear-mongering.
ये लोग तय करके बैठे थे कि भारत के लोकतंत्र और लोकतंत्र की प्रक्रिया के प्रति विश्वास ही लोगों का उठ जाए, और लगातार ईवीएम को गाली देना। और मुझे तो लगता था कि शायद इस बार वो ईवीएम की अर्थी का जुलूस निकालेंगे।
He took a jibe at the Congress over the Lok Sabha election results.
साथियों, 10 साल बाद भी कांग्रेस 100 के आंकड़े को नहीं छू पाई। 14, 19 और 24 तीन चुनावों को जोड़ करके कहूं, कांग्रेस के 3 चुनाव जोड़ूं तो इन 3 चुनावों में जितनी सीटें मिली है उससे ज्यादा हमें इस चुनाव में मिली है। हमारे संस्कार ऐसे हैं कि विजय की गोद में उन्माद पैदा नहीं होता है और न ही पराजित लोगों के प्रति उपहास करने के हमारे संस्कार है।
Prime Minister Modi accused opposition of deriding Indian democracy.
चुनाव के पीक अवर्स में विश्व में भारत के लोकतंत्र की ताकत को कम आंकने का प्रयास, और कितना एक्सट्रीम है। मैं दुनिया में ढोल पीट रहा हूं कि हम मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी है, और ये दुनिया में जाकर के बता रहे नहीं हमारे देश में तो डेमोक्रेसी ऐसा कुछ नहीं, कि वो मोदी बैठ गया है, वो एक चाय बेचने वाला यहां पहुंच कैसे गया, कुछ तो गड़बड़ की होगी। साथियों, एनडीए में
Prime Minister sharpening his attacks on the opposition, the war of words between India bloc and NDA could get more fierce in the coming days. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's also tell you about the special invitees that have been called for the swearing-in ceremony that takes place on Sunday. As usual, it's out of the box and inspirational. The caretaker Prime Minister has invited tribal women, transgender activists, Central Vista Project laborers, the rat hole miners who assisted in the Uttarkashi tunnel rescue last year, sanitation workers in the public health department, beneficiaries of central government schemes, and Viksit Bharat ambassadors. Out of the box, unusual, not in the mainstream. That's the invitation list that the BJP and the NDA Sarkar have invited for the swearing-in ceremony. Now, the BJP's sense of shock over its losses in Uttar Pradesh have understandably dominated the party's mood since the verdict 4 days ago, along with Maharashtra. And like I said earlier, it will occupy the biggest chunk of the BJP's post-mortem efforts. But for some reason, this glare on the heartland has blurred all vision on what happened in the south. Yes, I'm talking about the 5 southern states, a part of the country where a sustained narrative was mounted by the opposition, peddling a north-south divide. Remember that? Following the India Alliance's drubbing in 3 heartland state polls last year, you remember how this suggested north-south divide was amplified by India Alliance parties who openly labelled them as Gaumutra states. Well, amidst these deserved celebrations in the India Alliance, having taught the BJP a bitter lesson in both UP and Maharashtra, it's telling how little the alliance wants to talk about the South today. A part of the country it had projected as out of bounds for the BJP, a region that the Hindi party could only dream of breaching. And yet, it is here in this most difficult part of the country, the South, that the BJP can take maximum satisfaction from the verdict. Let's go through them one by one and see if you agree with me. First, Karnataka, the only southern state where the BJP not only has a major footprint, but has enjoyed several stints in power in the past. In this state, the BJP managed to win 17 seats, blunting the momentum of the Congress, which had only a year ago humiliated the BJP in the assembly elections. True, voters choose differently in state and Lok Sabha elections, and true that the JDS, the ally of the BJP, transferred votes in a region that usually resists the BJP, but that still doesn't explain the Siddaramaiah, DK Shivakumar juggernaut failing to land better numbers for a resurgent Congress. This also signals the return of B.S. Yediyurappa's grip on the party in this key southern state. Second, Andhra Pradesh, a state where the NDA has bundled Jagan Reddy out of power, riding with an aggressively resurgent TDP. Not only has the BJP won 3 Lok Sabha seats, it has wrangled a surprising 8 assembly seats. This is a state where the BJP had a vote share of less than 1%. It now gets to taste power for the first time in a southern state apart from Karnataka. For the first time in its history, the BJP gets another platform from which to expand its southern footprint. It's like another gateway. Third, let's go to Telangana, where the BJP has doubled its Lok Sabha footprint from 2019 to now winning 8 seats. Both the BJP and the Congress have swelled their numbers at the cost of a wiped-out BRS. But the BJP's gain is actually far more significant and far more telling. Not only has its vote share zoomed dramatically, the reason is that the Congress under Revant Reddy won the Telangana Assembly election in a landslide just 6 months ago. And by Revant's own reckoning, this 2024 Lok Sabha fight was to be a referendum of kinds on his first few months in office. The BJP has managed to completely contain that. The Congress and the BJP won an equal number of seats in Telangana. In Tamil Nadu, where the Prime Minister dedicated an outsized amount of time and numerous visits, including his final stop in Kanyakumari, the BJP scored 0, a big fat 0, notwithstanding a viral campaign under State Chief Annamalai. No seats were won by the BJP, but the party did manage to increase its vote share to double digits, 11.2%, up from just over 3% before, fighting on its own without any Dravidian party support. That's no small feat. Granted, the BJP fought on many more seats in 2019, but double digits on a solo effort could galvanize the BJP to aim big in the 2026 assembly elections if lessons are learned, so they won't be actually crying about this. And finally, perhaps an achievement that will be most satisfying of all for the BJP, scoring its first ever Lok Sabha win in the forbidding out-of-bounds battlefield of God's own country, Kerala. Suresh Gopi's win in Thrissur and a healthy scare given to the Congress's Shashi Tharoor in Thiruvananthapuram are much more than the BJP could have ever hoped for. Increasing its vote share from 13% to 16% may seem small, but it holds great significance because the BJP believes this will ultimately yield more seats. In summary, the BJP has achieved uniform good news from the 5 states that the opposition had declared as prohibited, as no entry to the BJP. An election is finally about the numbers, and both sides have good reason to celebrate and ruminate. But the BJP's growth in the southern states should trouble the opposition much more than UP losses are making them celebrate.